Today, welcome. We're going to look at writing your story, but just in pieces. It's not a big deal and it's not something you have to worry about. But if you don't tell your story of when you were a child or teenager or got married or whatever, who's going to tell your story? My father died and I didn't have nearly as much of his story as I wanted. So don't let that happen to you. And you say, well, my life isn't that exciting. It is very interesting because every generation will want to know what your life was like. And you don't have to be a movie star or anything else. And you'd be very surprised how interesting and how educational, informative your life will be when you write your story. So you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a book. It can be short story, it can be a poem, it can be anything you want it to be because it's yours. And nobody else can tell that story because it's inside of you. Your story is here and here. So please don't hesitate to share that story. And I'm here to help you delve into it, into your past. However you choose to do it, you are holding a treasure trove inside there. So please think of sharing it. And I'm going to give you some information or something to start with. Suggested self-starter is this page, which will be available on the library site also. And it says, I just thought of. It can be a person, place, thing. For example, my sister Maria in our old barn was trying to save the puppies when they were born because she was afraid Daddy would give them away. He always said he was going to give them to this wonderful home, which she knew by then wasn't quite true. So who was person or people or thing? What was the place? Where was it? In the barn? Was it in the house? Was it in the shed? Was it anywhere you think of? Have you thought of your person? Let's go back to your person. And what is the place they're in or you're both in? What's the thing that happened? Was it a car crash? Was it way less than that? Was it driving a tractor down a hill when the clutch slipped? Anything. And where were you or they at the time? How did you know it? How did you see it? Were you involved? And what were you feeling or thinking? And why is it still in your mind? And that's the key to all of this. Why is that situation still in your mind? Because it was important to you. It was important to you at the time and it's important to you now. And then share any other details. Taste, touch, sight, sound, and smell. Remember, everything comes to us through the five senses. So anything to do with that, what did it smell like in the barn? When you ate that horrible lemon pie that your sister didn't put any sugar in, what did it taste like? Anything like that. So I have a whole bunch of notes. I'll show you what I used. First, I'm going to go through these. First I'm going to go through these to get you started with this person, place, or thing. There are, you can make a list that starts with I remember. And you can take a day, a week, a month, a year to do this list, but add to it. What about your siblings? What about the activities? We went in soap holes. We went in the creek when we weren't supposed to. We're climbing on the roof of the house. What were the activities? What did your home look like, feel like? The layout of the rooms, the smell of the rooms. What were the schools like? You must remember the smell of old schoolrooms. Everybody does. People who stayed at your house, for example, the hired men, the relatives, friends, strangers, everybody came to our house. What was your outside work? What was your inside work? Who were your neighbors? What were they like? What was your socializing like? What were the medicines, the home remedies? We all had those. We all had mustard plasters. When did you first experience death? Was it your horse? Was it your dog? Was it person? Your animals and your pets. Badass stuff you did. You know, pretended you were putting money in the collection plate, but you just banged on it and kept the money for treats after when you burned down the barn. Church. Who was at church? We had an alcoholic Sunday school teacher, so I had a story there. Your gardens, were they huge? Were the weeds? Were the enemy? We gave away sacks of potatoes. Food, how did you store it? Your basic meat and potatoes, how did you get it? Your grandparents, oh my God, my granny is a book on her own, but that's another whole story. Your other relatives, there's at least 3 alcoholics in our family, and there probably is in every family. One was the life of the party, one looked like a little elf and chased us kids, and one was very cranky and racist. So they all had their own story. The vehicles you had, your work responsibilities, music, what did you do for music? What about movies? Did you get to go to the movies? Special occasions, your birthdays, Christmas, perhaps a religious holiday different than Christmas, anything like that, New Year's Eve. Your mom's characteristics as you saw them, and your dad's characteristics as you saw them. The games you played, making up games. I mean, we had all kinds of games made up, and some of them are sold today, and we wish we would have put them on the market, but we were too stupid to. So, for instance, this is my list that I started with, that I wrote down, and I wrote all the things that caught my eye that day, or caught my mind that day. And there's the Chinaman's restaurant. Every town had one. And were we racist? Yes, we were, but we learned. Burning down the barn, cleaning the chicken coop, dead chickens. The name of this book will be Dead Chickens Don't Lay Eggs, because my mom always said, what the heck is going on? Are those coyotes getting those chickens? What's going on? We're not getting enough eggs. And we knew that we'd killed some of them. Not on purpose, but we had accidentally killed some of them with some of the games. And so the name of the book will be Dead Chickens Don't Lay Eggs. The dolls, our neighbor's pigs, the garden raiding, Great cutting my brother's hair, Mom punishing us for smoking. All these things are a little story on their own. And so they can be a page long, 2 paragraphs long, whatever you choose them to be. And this is only a self-starter if you choose this way to start remembering things. But I'm telling you, when you start saying things out loud, you will start thinking of all the different things that happened when you were raised. See this? This is my scrap notes. And this is my scrap notes because I think of little things as I go along. Driving. Anybody in our family driving, because we all had a bad record for driving. Drinking stout in their pheasant glasses that my sister won at bingo at Tippy Creek Stampede. The creek at Duncan's. The salesman, Raleigh man, all those salesmen that, Watkins man, our piano. When did we get our piano? When did we get our phone? I've just got notes in here to remind me to add these to the list and to do something about them, which is what I'm doing. Trying to do. Oh, and words that I just thought of, that what they were called. That thing with the crank on it that Dad sharpened the axe with, that's a whetstone. And we were untethered. We weren't wild, we were just untethered kids. So, you know, I've got a lot of things here that can be used, and I hope you use them, because it's important that we give our family history. It's important that people know these little stories. We can do genealogy, and nothing against genealogy, because some of them have the greatest stories also. But maybe we don't want to do it in the order that it's shown there. Maybe we just want to remember ridiculous things. Maybe we just want to remember happy things. And so that's how we do it. And there are a number of family memory books in the Marathon Public Library, but I think it'll be sometime. You can't take them out anyway because they're too precious, but it'll be sometime probably before you can go in and read them. But wouldn't it be nice to have your book on that shelf one day? And yeah, there's just so much that can be written when it comes to that. And I know I'm rushing through this, but my time is limited. And there's a quote that I have hanging up on my above my computer. Sometimes later becomes never. Do it now. Even if you sit down and start writing just words, garden, a first death, my room, my bed, anything, my school, my church, anything. Just start writing it now. Just make a little list. And so then sometimes later becomes never. Well, sometimes later is now. It's now. So please go and do that. Okay? And give your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren something to laugh about and something to go, really? That's how they lived? Thanks for listening.